So it's February 2024. The Nikon Z6II has been out for quite a few years now, and we've long waited for the Nikon Z6III. And according to some rumors, the Z6III should be released sometime this year. And like all wildlife photographers who are using the Nikon Z6II, we're all waiting to see what the Z6III has to offer. And I'm sure that it will be a great camera. For me, there's three things that I would like to see on the Z6III. And I'd like you to share your thoughts on what you would like to see on the Z6III. Leave it in the comments and let's have a discussion about this. The three things that I would like to see is one, bird AF. I'm sure that that's going to be on the Z6III. And maybe less lag time when we're just using continuous high, where we have blackout. Maybe they can fix that to reduce the lag time. But this is not the number one critical for me. Even bird eye autofocus is not the number one criteria for me. For me, the number one criteria for the Z6III is better contrast detecting, because as wildlife photographers, we don't always shoot in the best of light. Sometimes we're shooting in harsh light, sometimes we're shooting in the shadows, where our bird is in the shadows, and this is where contrast detecting really lets the Z6II down, especially if it's a dark bird. This is a brush turkey, taking some video of it, that in these situations when the bird is black and it is in the shade, that the Z6II really struggles taking photos. 90% of the time I have to use the focus ring to focus on the bird, then it'll take photos. But even then, sometimes it just will not focus, because with contrast detecting on the Z6II, it just won't lock into a dark subject. And I hope they fix this on the Z6III. And most of the time, my metering mode when I'm shooting wildlife is center weighted. The joys of wildlife photography. I'm here doing a video, and a bird that I like photographing are little wattlebirds, but they're very spooky. This one was only 3 meters away from me. Look at this little wattlebird, so beautiful. This is the first time I've taken video of a little wattlebird. Getting back to metering, you might say, well, just move from center weighted to spot metering. I don't like using spot metering when I'm just out in the open sunshine, because if I'm photographing a black bird in the open, it'll meter for that black bird and just blow the highlights. It'll just blow all the surrounding area out. I like using sometimes spot metering if I'm photographing an egret, which is white. It'll balance up the exposure, but most of the time I'm using center weighted. And at times you might be walking around and you're going from sun to shade, shade to sun. So I just leave it in center weighted. But at times I just miss photos because of this. And I'm sure this is something that Nikon can improve on, because if that's the case, that might just give me the motivation to upgrade from my Z6II to the Z6III. But that's still a very big if, because a lot of people say, well, you know, I just want bird eye autofocus. Well, coming from a digital SLR, we never had bird eye autofocus. Yes, bird eye autofocus really would help us nail the eye on the bird. Tracking also, like tracking birds around, would also be of major help. I don't photograph a lot of birds in flight, so that's not a big deal for me. So bird eye autofocus isn't my number one. It's contrast detecting. What is the number one factor that you would like the Nikon Z6III to have? Leave it in the comments. Or if you want, leave me the top 5 things that you would like improved from the Z6II to the Z6III. I'd really like to hear. And it would be great to have a bit of a discussion to see, because wildlife photographers, we're all different. We all shoot different subjects. So for me, it's contrast detecting. For you, it might be bird-eye autofocus. For somebody else, it might be subject tracking, because they photograph a lot of birds in flight. And if you're photographing birds in flight, subject tracking would be great, because I've shown in the past that subject tracking on the Z6II isn't that good. It is hit and miss. So thanks for watching. If you liked the video, give it a big thumbs up. Stay safe, enjoy your photography with the Z6II, and let's hope that the Nikon Z6III gives us what we want as wildlife photographers.